Hello, and welcome to Roll for Cliniciative, a D&D role-play podcast. I am CJ, I am your DM, and we're very excited to bring you episode 3. Before we begin, I'd like to whip around the table with some of the hard questions people have posed to us over the last month. And the hard question people have posed to us is pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? Dave, what are your thoughts?
Yes. So I have a very strong opinion on this, and that is absolutely not. Now, the reason being is that pineapples were never on pizzas. If you go to Italy and ask for a pineapple pizza, you'll be laughed out of the country. That is my take.
A strong take. Nick, you're up. Sean, you're on deck, so just get that answer ready.
Yeah, no, I'm very pro pineapple on pizza, 100%. Would regularly order it and enjoy it. And I think it should just be, you can put whatever you want as long as it tastes good.
Very controversial, but very chilled vibe, very much in keeping with Brother Marshall's opinions. Sean, you're the tiebreaker next.
I'm also on Nick's side. I'm a big fan of pineapple pizza, and I grew up with it. That was my favorite type of pizza growing up. So 100%, it's the best.
And Scott, this puts you in a position of power from the land of the long white cloud where you're dialing in from.
Love being the tiebreaker. So much fun. Dave, I'm coming in on your side here. We're going to even out the pack. I think it's sacrilege. Yeah. I don't think it should be allowed.
Yes. Brother Marshall, what you are preaching is heresy. Shame
Fake
on
God. Fake religion.
False idol.
Strongly divided opinions here. What we can guarantee you is not a decision on this important matter, but we can guarantee you a continuation of our story. And last we left off, we were in the midst of Palebank Village. A disease had broken out and multiple members of the village had contracted a freezing illness. You had been contracted by the mayor for a decent sum of gold coins to attempt to find what had caused this mystery illness. And you're in a race against time with Horatio Cardigan, the world's greatest traveling detective, in order to solve this mystery. All signs having pointed you towards a cave outside of town called Croker Cave, where some smugglers are believed to be hiding as your next step. Before we head there, I want to cut back to Dave's character, Duran Thunderaxe, as he dropped off his prisoners to the guards of the town. Dave, did you go to drop the prisoners off alone, or were you with any of your compadres?
Oh, So Duran would have loved some company, but if no one was willing to go, he would have gone with the criminals himself. So that depends on if anyone. Yeah.
I really warmed to Jiren in our first little interactions, and I think there's a little bit of a obsession with the fun teacher kind of vibe going along, and so I think Bucks might have got along with him if he would have had him. It's like the two dopey optimists like walking through the winter wilderness.
So Duran and Buxel approach the guardhouse. It's a small town, but they have essentially 2 to 3 prison rooms attached to their meager courthouse. As you walk up, there are 2 dwarf clansmen who are on duty, and you note that they have the symbol of your clan, a branch version of your clan, on their arms, in addition to the town's raiments. So they're dressed in like basic leather armor, and they see you coming, and one of them nudges the other, and they just say,
"Yeah,
what do you do?"
Duran continues smiling, walks up to them and goes, "Private Thunderaxe, reporting for duty. And this is," and he points to, and he goes, "it is my good friend, Bucks. Together, we caught these 2 criminals."
And the first guard, big long beard, balding head, but a big bushy beard, chubby, has gone to a bit of fat in his ears, looks at the other and says, "Yeah, that old Duran's here has got himself some prisoners." That's the right laugh, isn't it? Where'd you find these folks?
Oh, I just remember that my friend, the big rabbit lady, was running to a store, and then after that, we just saw all these people fighting, and then I offered some tea, and then someone cracked a cane and disappeared, and yeah, that's what happened. Everyone's been disappearing a lot lately. Maybe that's a crime that you can investigate with complete sincerity.
We'll totally do that for you, Duran. Anyway, we'll throw these folks in the brig and see what happens in the morning. We'll run it up the chain. You better get out of here, though. This is official
Oh.
business, not for junior members of the clan like yourself.
Yeah, I completely understand it. Soon, one day, I'll be able to join your clubhouse and we'll all get some tea together. Speaking of tea, this guy here, and he points to one of the prisoners who essentially gave up and says, he gave us a lot of information. Maybe go easy on him. I think he can probably get some time off his sentence. He's been a good kid.
And the two dwarves hesitantly look over the prisoners and they start to bundle them into one of the cells. As they're turning away, one of them turns to the other and just says, "Quack." And they both have a bit of a snigger and a chuckle, sort of look over their shoulder at you. The other one says, "Quack."
Yeah. Our secret code. Quack. And he says that quite loudly.
They
It's like
look at you a
taking
bit
notes. Yes.
confused. And they say, "Oh,
And then
on
so
your
he
way then."
goes, Durin turns to Bucksaw, goes, so I think 1 quack means yes and 2 means no. I'm only trying to figure out the code. And then then we both turn around and walk away.
So you guys are free to meet up with the rest of the party. You're on your way to Croker Cave, which you know of in the area. It'd be relatively easy to find that. It's maybe let's say an hour's trek. Do you guys want to grab anything before you go, or you're happy to head out?
They're probably pretty heavy.
I think happy at
Kind
the
of short
same.
rest for us.
Or is it worth seeing if we can? What time is it? Is it late, like midnight?
Let's say the funeral was in the afternoon. You are probably getting towards dusk. You could press on. You could have a rest. It's up to you guys.
So let's see. It depends on how badly we want to go. I like having a rest as much as everyone else, but I don't know. I feel like Theo really wants to beat Horatio for some reason.
I don't know if I necessarily want to beat Horatio, but I think I'm very motivated to try and figure this out as quickly as possible. Do we know how far away the cave is? Could it take an hour, half an hour, or an hour to get there, or something? Or
About an hour. You could probably make it there as the sun's just losing its light. Like you'd get there with just a hint of light left in the day. But yeah, it could be done. It could be done. The area, you're got a low probability of getting lost on the way.
Okay.
okay, yeah, yeah. I guess it's me and Brother Marshall are kind of locals, isn't it? But yeah, I'll tell everyone I know exactly where that cave is. I can take us straight there. We can get there before the sun sets, and we can figure this out tonight.
Yeah, I'll definitely second that as well. And then we can make a call about if we should come back tonight or if we should try and stay near the cave overnight, depending on how we go. But definitely good to get there this evening.
Happy to follow your lead.
Okay,
Can you
yeah.
guys just make
What do you guys
me
think? Whatever you guys think.
Can someone make for me a survival check or something just to, on the way there, see if anything terrible happens?
If anyone's better than +1.
I've got a +4.
And
I got a 5.
There you go. Go on.
Oh, actually, I need to share the map with you guys. I'll just put that in the StreamYard dump. Check private chat. Okay. Yep. Okay, so check the spectator map on your thing. All right. Okay. If anyone can get it better than a 5.
oh, okay. Let's
Please do.
give Jiren
Oh,
a
wait,
go.
sorry. Theo got a 5, not a +5, which is what I thought.
No,
Okay. That was with the plus.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
try
Jiren
that.
somehow rolled a 19.
Okay. You guys start heading out. At one point, Jiren, you notice that Theo lost in thought and he wanders off the path a bit. You come around, pick him up, turn him around, point him in the right direction, and you carry on. You guys make really good time. You sense that you're really making excellent pace, and you come up on Croker Cave with still some light, little bit of light left. You know a bit about Croker Cave. It gets its name from its resident ice frogs. There's a lot of ice frogs that live in this cave. Its entrance is on the shores of the Frigid Depths, which is outside of Palebank Village. As you draw close, you see a couple of things, frequent signs of tracks, particularly with that 19 roll, where you suspect people have been coming and going. You presume bandits. You don't see any active patrols or guards outside, and you do see a faint plume of smoke in that last bit of light that you made it there in time for, that is emerging from beyond the cave entrance. So there's the cave, and then a bit back from the cave entrance, emerging from the slopes around it, smoke is drifting up.
I think as we approach, I think Brother Master would like gesture to everyone, be a bit on guard and be a bit aware. There's not necessarily friendly characters hiding around these parts, and we should be ready to act should we see anyone.
No friendly characters. Yeah, Tugi told us to go see Hulil here, so we have an invite.
That's true. We do have some sort of invite, but they might not be expecting us.
Oh. No, it was Tugi. What was it? Oh, yeah, Hulil. Yeah, we're going to see Hulil. Oh, they may not be expecting us, but I guess should we knock? And if that's the case, should I just yell out and say, hello, we're coming in?
I don't know about yelling out, but I'm going to, let's talk to the guys that live around here. Maybe they know if that's a normal thing to do or not. But I'm a little bit nervous about that we don't know who those people are.
Yeah, I think as Duran tries to yell out, we like cover his mouth.
I'm like,
Do you go straight into the cave? What would you like to do?
Do I know this? Can I do like a check to see if I know this cave system, if there's any other entrances or anything?
Yeah, you can roll me. Yeah, I'm happy for you to pitch whatever role you think that would be, Sean.
I guess I'll just do investigation.
Sure.
Or should I do history or survival? Maybe survival again.
A history or nature, I suppose.
Nature, yeah,
Survival would be fine.
I'll do nature. That makes sense. 14.
Yep, a few things with the 14. You know that this cave system is relatively extensive, so there's at least a couple of smaller caves inside. You remember, as a young boy, I imagine you might have been on a dare or dared to go explore the caves, and you remember at least several pockets within the cave system. You know that there's probably only one way out, and you also know that these frogs that live in there can grow to quite a size, and that you flash back to a moment where one jumped out at you while you were exploring the cave system, and it was cold to touch, like it was freezing, like your hand stuck to it like a tongue to an ice pole in a New York street.
Okay, I'll tell everyone that I know these caves. They have ice frogs in there. We need to be really wary of them. They could jump out at you, and they just be wary. They will freeze you to touch. You need to be able to either dodge them, or we need to have something warm that we can have to warm ourselves, because that can actually be quite a big hazard in these caves.
You would also know it was very dark. You took a torch in there last time, and that there's very limited light in this cavern system.
interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So
Want to go in and explore? It seems dangerous.
Durin goes to Theo, hey, do you know how long it would take for us to go through these caves? Because if it's less than 10 minutes, I can gain tremor sense with a range of 60 feet as long as I'm touching natural or work stone.
I expect it's a big cave system with lots of pockets, as far as I'm aware. So I think it'll probably be more than 10 minutes. I think.
Shame. Okay, I need to do it twice, so that's 20.
Okay. We could
We'll
always
see how we
go in and see. I can also conjure lights,
That might be useful.
so I think we'll be okay for
Yeah.
that one of it.
Durin pulls out mittens from underneath his splint armor, goes, we're gonna be okay, Nibbles. And he holds Nibbles out like this, like a baby. And then he turns around and goes like the Lion King, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay, because we have Nibbles. And then, so how would Nibbles respond to that? Oh, Chris, can't hear you.
Muted see.
Nibbles has started to really warm up to you. Nibbles looks at you and gives you a paw up. Goes,
Yeah.
in that way, the cats believe that they're probably a benefit to those around them just by being around.
Absolutely. Now let's get you right nice and warm underneath my armor, so you're nice and safe. All right. Okay.
I'll also tell everyone this is the only way in and out. So if we get stuck, this is the way to get out, and then there's no other way out. So
That is A-okay.
terrifying.
Worst comes to worst? Oh, worst comes to worst, we'll just make our way out. We're dwarves after all.
Yes.
Not all of us. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's the saying from back home.
It's okay. We're dwarves and dwarves allies.
Honorary dwarves, just for this evening. and then we'll see.
How far away was the smoke plume up the cliffside from the entrance to the cave? Is it close enough that if we came running out in a hurry, we would alert them? Or is it far enough away that we can?
From what you saw, the smoke plume was maybe 30 to 50 meters back at a rough guess. And
Okay.
you saw smoke, but you didn't actually see fire or an encampment. You just saw smoke rising from where you imagine the roof of the cave extends to. So further back from the entrance.
Okay, cool. So possibly it's a sign that there's people in the cave rather than a separate encampment of people outside. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Shall we go in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I would probably sneak in, I think.
Can we add you guys to the map? I think just for completeness. I'll just reveal a bit of the entrance for you.
I was wondering what Strange Town C1 was.
One, you've seen them all, haven't you? So let me see. I'll pick up your cap. So Teo's there. Feel free to move you guys into sort of whatever order you
Yeah,
wish.
surely you lead the way through this one and like
So-
to cover it for us.
And Duran, you've got tremor sense up, don't you?
Yes, when going into the cave, I will get it up for a period of 10 minutes. So that's one of my uses.
Can you roll me a luck check, just a flat D20 luck check? Sure. That I will take into account as well.
What does tremor sense do?
So I've got it here. A creature with tremor sense can pinpoint the location of creatures and moving objects within a specific range, provided that the creature with tremor sense and anything it is detecting are both in contact with the same surface, such as the ground, a wall, or a ceiling, or the same liquid. Tremor sense can't detect creatures or objects in the air, and it doesn't count as a form of sight. How much was your range for that day?
60 feet.
So it's really a vibe check.
Yeah.
It is a vibe check.
Oh, it is. I think it's a new feature in the D&D 2024 feature for dwarves, which is cool. I rolled a flat 10.
Okay, I'll take that into account.
Right.
And Teo, before you get into it, I'm going to move Teo back for a sec. What you're seeing, Teo... Okay, everyone's on there. Yep.
Or was that water?
I've got 3 buxels.
Was I
I've got
swimming?
3
Sorry.
Whoa, Buxels. Have we been drinking? I can see 3 of you.
Mirror image. That's a high level spell.
I haven't learned that one yet. I read about it in a book.
This thing. Okay, just before you get into it, there is a couple of things you see immediately. So you enter the cave. I'm going to give you some dimensions. So the caves, generally speaking, will be about 10 feet high ceilings. And there's a few stalactites you see immediately that give it about 2 foot clearance. So 8 foot up, 2 feet of stalactite to the ceiling. The walls are a bit rough. There are footholds and handholds in the walls. The cavern has no natural light source. And there are frigid pools scattered throughout these caves. So what you're seeing there at the start is ground, and then that green is a frigid pool, very cold, not ice, but it looks extremely cold. Duran, you have tremor sense. What is the range on that?
Oh, also, tremor sense is 60 feet, but I just realized dwarves have dark vision with a range of 120 feet.
Wow.
Beautiful. With tremor sense, you are actually able, with that luck roll, to find 2 things. So you notice that there are 2 giant frogs in that pool of water. The luck roll was just to see if they were in contact with the ground or if they were swimming at the time you walked in. So they're both on the floor of the frigid pool. I'll just reveal the other one. But you sense 2 giant frogs in that frigid pool. You can see that it extends across to 2 openings, one to the south and to the southeast. And you can have a look around the cave if you want now, or you can do something with those giant frogs. If anyone wants to do a perception check or further actions, just let me know.
I'll do a perception check. 13 total.
13. With the 13,
Got a
you see a
13.
couple of things. Yeah. Okay, good. So with the 13, you can see that there is in fact a plank of wood, a very long plank of wood that is sitting on the south bank. You also note a few handholds in the walls of the cave. That's about it.
Okay.
Can I just, do I know like the nature of these giant frogs, whether they'd be aggressive or not? Or could I do a nature check or insight check or something? Just see if they.
I'll give it to you with that previous nature check. You would know these frogs will probably, they can be passive. They can attack if startled. In general, you're not sure if these particular frogs, what they're doing in the cave with the bandits.
Fine. Okay.
So we can
During
if we want to. Do you guys think we can use those handholds and stuff around the side of the cave?
Yeah, I can go first. We should probably, if you want to tie a rope to me, and then you can do that so you can pull me back out, or otherwise I can actually get the rope, tie it to something on the other side, which will probably make it easier for others to get over.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty good. My acrobatics, so I can follow behind you, but I'm sure yours is quite good.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? My acrobatics is only +3. I don't know if anyone has better.
Wow, it's a lot.
I don't have it. So Durin has 0 acrobatics. That has +5 to athletics. He's probably done a lot of drills and training and climbed a lot of ropes, so maybe he could do that. Before he does that, though, Durin looks at the frogs and how big are these frogs? Is it like a cat-sized frog, a human-sized frog, elephant-sized frog?
Good question. So these would be the size of, not as big as a German Shepherd. I want to say somewhere between a wombat and a German Shepherd, and I can't quite think of the animal to describe that. I'm happy to take a description, but somewhere between that size spectrum.
Like
So
a Shiba
during-
Inu dog,
Like a
like a corgi.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
bigger than a corgi. Bigger than a
Okay.
corgi.
Cool.
like a
Shit.
fat golden retriever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a golden
Yeah.
retriever that's down on its luck.
Yeah.
So Durin opens up his split arm and goes, "Hey, look, Nibbles, we're friends." And then Durin goes, "Hey, Bucks, you can talk to animals. Can you talk to these frogs?"
I can talk to the frogs. I don't know if they have to be normal animals and not like creepy, scary animals. And then Theo was saying these ones are cold and so maybe they're dead or something. But also, I didn't know how to, I'm really tired and I didn't know how to tell everybody that before when we said that we would come here tonight. Because we haven't had a rest, I have no spell slots. And to need to cast Speak with Animals would be a ritual. And that means that I have to sit in this cold cave for 10 minutes. But I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
How long does Speak for
And
Animals
he
take
goes
anyway?
to sit like cross-legged and like very near the cold, like more so enough to fall in. Someone should probably start with.
All right, Bucks, let's stop. Wait, first of all, how long does Speak with Animals last for? Because you casted it in the last session when you were talking to the wolves.
Very good question.
At least I
they're
know from...
chatting, I'm-
Yeah.
While they're
Sorry,
chatting,
go.
I'm tying the rope to around my waist, and I start hand holding while they're busy discussing what to do.
It's only lasted 10 minutes, so it's probably stopped.
Okay. So it's not like Baldur's Gate 3 where it lasts until a long rest. Oh, all right. Okay.
Cool. So can you give me an acrobatics or athletics check as you make your way around the cave? Sean,
Yeah,
no
I'll do,
choice.
I'll do acrobatics.
11. Unfortunately, you slip into the water and a couple of things happen.
Okay.
So Teo slips into the water. As he does, the giant frog nearby is suddenly much closer to him. First, I need you to make a constitution roll for falling in the frigid water. So can you give me a constitution roll?
Oh, sorry, Constitution. Oh, 10.
10's enough. 10 will just do it. So you pass a DC 10 con save. As you fall in, the giant frog is suddenly very close to you and decides to attack.
Oh,
So, guys, what I need you to do,
I told you that
roll
roll
all
my
the off. I'll get those
Sorry,
initial
guys.
rolls, and you're in combat.
Okay.
Damn.
So roll for
It's going to
initiative.
be so sneaky.
Roll for initiative.
Roll for
You can roll
cliniciative.
for cliniciative or initiative, whatever you want.
The muscle rolled now 23 for initiative. Jeez.
Let's go.
And
My plus 0 is looking real sad.
Yep.
17.
Durin rolled 10 and can swap with anyone because of his alert feat from being a guard. But I imagine no one probably wants to swap.
Actually, because you can see them, right?
You're pretty
You have
strong.
amazing attack for these guys.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I'm gonna have disadvantage on trying to attack these guys because it's in the dark. So-
Okay.
If you do take my nat 20, you might be able to get a couple punches in before or at a higher rate than I can. So if you're happy to, I'd love for you to take the 23.
So here's the thing. Player Dave would love that, but Durin is a pacifist for the most part.
But what
If
about
you've noticed, for all the combat, he hasn't taken a single attack action when he doesn't have to. So
I guess
but
the
what
only
he can do is
other
just-
thought is the rope as well, because I imagine Durin's pretty strong. If there's
Yeah.
like a strength or athletics check to be able to pull
That
from
is
the water.
true. Durin could do that, or Durin could give Brother Marshall a help action and point out what the frogs are.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I
Frogs.
think although in character, Durin would probably pull the rope if you're happy to swap initiatives.
Yeah, because I reckon let's do that. If you're happy to pull him out, let's pull him out.
Yeah.
And then I'll do your turn then after.
Awesome.
What initiative is Brother Marshall coming in, and what is Durin coming in?
Brother Marshall will be coming in at initiative 10, and Durin would be coming in at initiative 23.
Love it. Okay. Love it. Okay. Combat kicks off, and Durin, spryest dwarf in the west, is first up. So you see two giant frogs. One has been startled by Teo, and you can do whatever you want. They haven't attacked, but you can see it's ready to pounce. And yeah, you can do whatever you want.
So Durin looks and sees Theo falling into the waters. Gotta be cold. All right, better fish you out, just like home, and then starts pulling on the rope as strong as he can to pull it out of the reach of the frog and back into dry land. Would you like me to roll an athletics check?
Yeah, go an athletics check.
So 17 on the die becomes 22.
Woohoo!
I'm gonna fly out of there.
Yeah.
Easily done. You can haul Sean away quite easily. Allow you to
grab
pull him
you.
all the way out of the pool.
Awesome. So Durin's just pulling and pulling. He's like, I got you, Matt. I got you, buddy. Just like I got a giant barramundi. And then pulls Theo out of the water.
A well-known fish to these parts.
Mm.
The frozen.
Well, that's what I like
flavor.
for them anyway.
Oh, thank you so much for getting me out.
That is A-okay. That means I got to work on my pulling techniques today, so I don't have to go to the gym anymore.
Would you like to do anything else with your turn or move on?
Okay, movement-wise, Durin will, I think, move to the edges of the waters, stay in front of everyone else in case the frogs try to come up and attack anyone else. So he's going to try to stay in front of them as like a protector. And that's his turn.
The two frogs are up next. They look at you guys and they see that Teo's retreated and they're uncertain what to do. They're still a bit on edge. You think maybe they might attack you. They might be susceptible to being persuaded. I don't know. They'll move on from their turn. And that'll go to Teo.
So it looks like the frogs have stopped attack. What do the frogs look like they're going to do? So they haven't attacked, or they look like they're probably not going to attack currently?
You think they're probably not going to attack now that you've retreated out of the water? They're still on edge. You think if you went back in the water, they would probably be hostile again.
Yep. Okay, I'll ask everyone, do you think it's worth trying again? Or should we try something else?
Yeah, can we distract them or something?
Oh, that's not
Ooh,
bad.
that's a great idea.
Anyone got something bright or flashy we could throw to the other side maybe? Or
I could do a firebolt to the other side of the pool and see if that either scares them away or if it attracts them to go attack them over there and then maybe throw away. Okay, when you were in the water, could you like touch the ground?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. Are we able to get across the water, or is it like a constitution save every turn and then I presume take cold damage or something? It looks
Yeah.
cold. That's all I know. It looks really cold.
It was cold.
Yeah.
It was cold.
we can definitely try climb across again and then
I think
maybe
so, yeah.
Can I maybe hold my action till after Buxall, and then when Buxall does a firebolt as a distraction, I'll try to climb across at the same time?
Yeah, go. And you clocked it was maybe 10 foot of water where you fell in, Sean. About
10 feet deep. That's pretty deep.
Especially for a 3-foot gnome.
Yeah. Okay, so I've still got the rope tied onto me. I'm going to ready my action, which is going to be when Buxel does his distraction, I'll gonna try clamber across again.
Yeah, go for it. At this point, you can probably just back out of formal initiative. They're not going to do anything unless you get in the water. So I'm happy for you guys to do whatever you want.
Okay, let's do that.
Yep.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's
And Durin holds on to the rope again.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
might,
again.
Great.
I might try to go along the rope as like an intermediate, sort of assisting with the climb as well.
You mean give me the help action?
Yeah, giving the help. Yeah.
Does anyone have camping tools? You can probably hammer these things onto the rope and secure it to the wall and make it easier.
That's not a bad idea. Do I have anything like that? I've got rope and
I don't really have anything.
I've got
like
I have some carpenter's tools. Maybe they can be.
Brother
someone
Marshall,
make
you can
some
definitely give him
noise.
the help action. But can you
Hmm.
tell me what you say to him? Like, how do you coach him through this? Like, how do you give him the pointers as a helpful friend?
Yeah. I think as he starts to take his first couple steps across the wall, I'll mimic and help point out, like possibly like where to go, like where things went wrong last time. Perhaps just seeing a better foothold than what was previously used, and see if that makes a difference.
How does Teo take coaching or criticism?
I think I take it well. I think I'm very open to trying to be better, and I think I've joined this group because I want to learn how to do things better, and I think I'm pretty open to it.
Give me an acrobatics or athletics with advantage.
Okay, acrobatics. Okay, that's 11 good. And that's a 7. Oh no, 17. 17.
Hells yeah.
Yeah. You are easily able to get to the other side of the cave. You've got ropes strung up there that the rest could easily climb along without a check. I'll allow them to just clamber over that without a check. Now that you have the rope, I'll reveal a bit more of the map for you while you move your counters across.
Look at us not choosing violence. How good.
I know, right?
So
It's
yeah,
the best.
I had my crossbow ready
Yeah.
for those frogs.
As Durin's climbing across, he waved the frog. Hi, bye, froggies. We'll see you again soon. Maybe you can meet my friend Nibbles.
So you guys see two cave areas you could proceed into. You can choose to either proceed into the southeast one where you're gathered or to the pure south one. Do you guys want to creep up towards either of those?
Should we just keep going along the way we are and explore this one on the right-hand side?
Yeah, that works for me.
Sure.
Yep. So you creep towards this C3. Before you get in there, Sean, I'll just give you some. So this cavern reeks. Its floor is covered in bat guano, absolutely covered in poop. Yeah, that's what you see immediately.
Incredible.
Can I do a perception check on the roof?
Yeah, go for it.
Durin just goes, oh, that's okay. That's just all
13.
fertilizer.
Yeah, with an 18, there is a swarm of bats that sleeps among the stalactites of this cavern. Does anyone have a light source?
No, I haven't.
No.
put anything up
So
yet.
they seem to be asleep. You could push. You basically just see the bats, stalactites, not much else in this cavern apart from the guano. If you want, you could attempt to creep through or do whatever you want.
Oh, if Durin is
I'm
wearing...
with-
Okay, we're gonna do it and just like. Shh.
And so
Can I-
Durin just he points to his splint armor that gives him disadvantage on stealth checks.
So if you could, so you can go through there. If so, give me a stealth check, or you can try going the south passage if you want to try and avoid these bats.
I
could
might
go
have a
that way.
quick look under the bats and then come back.
Stealth. All right. We are staying. We are not. I'm not going in.
I might try and stealth to just see what's in the next room, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a stealth.
Oh
roll.
my god!
How does an 11 go?
How's a 7 go? I think
With that, what happens is you guys are starting to sneak through the cave, and Teo and Brother Marshall both slip on bat guano,
Yep.
and you start to fall over, and Durin rushes in to help and stabilizes you and says, "Don't worry, I got you." And his armor makes this horrible squeal as he does so.
I got you.
We're now in initiative with some bats. So
Oh,
let's
no.
wake those guys up. Let's wake those guys up. Let's get rid of the giant frogs.
I was just really hoping there was something, like some good loot there or something.
I'll be living hope.
Rolling initiative again.
I'm going to keep
Or
the same
it's-
initiative order if that's
Cool.
okay with you guys.
Yep.
Just
Sure.
I'll be honest, this is not the boss encounter, this swarm of bats. But just for simplicity, they're not the big bad evil guys. So I'll give you guys, Durin, you still get first above the bats, and then Teo, and then the bats. Durin, you're up. You see a swarm of bats that swoops down towards Teo and Brother Marshall.
So what Durin does, would you mind if I roll a nature check to see if Durin knows very much about bats? Dave does, but
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
can
sure
roll
if
me a
Durin
nature
does.
check.
Let's do nature. Flat 10. So would Durin know that
What
bats
would
can would know about echolocation? I feel like that's just way above what he knows.
I think you get that with a 10. I think you come from a mining society that would encounter bats frequently. I think that's fine.
So what Durin is going to do is going to, are these squares 5 feet?
5 feet, yes.
So he's going to take his movement to move about 20 feet here to 20 feet here, and just trying to make as much noise as possible with his armor, like squeak, squeak, and almost trying to get the bats to come to form a distraction, so the bats go away from Brother Marshall and Theo and come to him instead, so that giving them a fighting chance to run away. So as a distraction, that could also be taken as a help action for whoever's next in initiative. What do you think, CJ?
So you're trying to give distraction to the bats. I will rule of cool it. You can give Teo either advantage on his attack, or you can give the bats disadvantage on their attack.
Oh.
Your choice.
I think let's go with disadvantage because it makes a lot of noise, and I know it to be really hard for them to concentrate.
Done. All right.
Awesome. And that is Durin's turn.
Teo, you're up. Bats flapping about. You see Durin charging in to save you.
Yep. I'm going to flip out my short sword and dagger, and I'm going to attack first with my short sword.
Go for it.
Oh, very nice. 21.
Yeah, 21 easily hits. AC is 12 on these bats.
Oh, very good. That was short sword, wasn't it? So that's going to be 7 damage for the first one.
Is it bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing?
That is... Sorry, piercing.
Okay, so it's got a damage resistance to piercing and slashing.
Yeah.
We'll say round, down, up. So 4 damage.
Yep. Okay. And then I can use my dagger and to hit. So I think because I get the vex quality on my short sword, so then I have advantage on my next attack roll. So I can do 2 attacks. So that's a 7, and this one's that one better. 23. So that's a hit, and because it's advantage, I can. So it's 4 + 3. So that's another 7 damage. But then with sneak attack I got 6. So that's 13 damage.
Ooh. And sneak attack was 6. All these bats look rough. Like half of the swarm is cut out of the air. I want you can describe for me what happens is you obliterate half of this swarm and they take off flying, scattered to the winds as their numbers reduce to less than half.
Oh, nice. So I hear them screeching as I look up and I see them coming down towards me. I flick out my knives, and then as they come down, I step to the side and slash upwards, and they just fall to pieces around me as they came down trying to attack me.
Done. And with that, the bats are gone. You guys are free to proceed or do whatever you wish.
Nice. Awesome.
Did you really have to hurt the bats?
They came at me. What was I to do?
I don't know. Just distract them. Be their friend. We wouldn't have this problem if we just talk to the animals. I'm just saying. Just someone, just put it. I'm just saying, and this is the most you're going to see Durin get angry at someone if it's like passive aggression. If someone was just a little bit more patient and just waited 10 minutes, we might have been able to just walk out, talk our way through. And that's as passive aggressive as it gets.
I tried to talk to bats before, and they're assholes. Durin, they're not good guys. You see what happened with those dogs back at that hut? They're not human intelligence. Sometimes to speak with animals doesn't work as well as you hope. But we will try. Sorry, I don't have any.
Not all bats are bad. We don't stereotype, okay? That is stereotyping, and I will not have that in our cave.
I could just imagine like 1,000 bats, like all speaking at once to Buxel and Hal.
Yes.
Going man.
Overwhelmed, yeah. Like the seagulls in Finding Nemo.
Teo, I can see you wanting to peek down there. You see a pretty
Yep,
straight shot,
thank you.
nothing of interest, and you see just a hint of some sleeping bags down to the south.
Okay, I'm gonna look back to everyone and go, "Shh," and then I'm gonna look at Durin specifically and go, "Shh."
Okay.
As you peek towards the south, I'll reveal that room.
This like shade and unshade features like perfect.
It's so good, isn't it?
Perfect,
It's so
Mm.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see a couple of things in the room to the south. So you proceed through the bat room towards what's called C4 on this map. 10 empty bedrolls arranged in a circle around a cold fire pit at the center of this cabin. There are chicken bones, empty wine, and spirits bottles. You see a discarded bottle of bald dwarf whiskey and some other food waste sort of litters the floor. That's kind of what you can see from where you are. You don't see any actual people or bandits in there or frogs. Durin's tremor sense would have dropped if... I don't remember if Buxel actually cast Speak with Animals as a ritual.
He
I
didn't.
think you guys didn't do that.
No,
Yeah,
we
so-
cracked on trying to pass the pool. Yeah.
So, Durin, you still have tremor sense up. Just keep me honest. Just remind me when we're going to a new room. You don't feel anything with tremor sense in this room.
Okay. And then Durin just goes, "Coast is clear, guys. No one here." And Durin just confidently strides into the room.
Very good. Okay, so you're free to enter that room. Just position yourself where you'd like to go. Do you want to do anything in this room or check out the other passageways?
Is there anything
think-
of worth to pick up from the ground? Yes, there's like sort of food litter and stuff, but is there any items that have been left behind that could be of interest?
I'd
Yeah,
like
you
to
can
look
go
through
through
the sleeping bags.
Yep. If you want to roll me an investigation, you can go through each of the sleeping bags.
15.
I
20.
Okay, those are good rolls.
12.
Well, these are
12. Yep.
No, that's
Can whoever rolled 12, can you just give me a quick perception check?
Okay. 10. I
Uh,
would roll a
okay,
lot
so
of-
as you're walking towards the sleeping bag to the most east, you actually are about to step onto it, and then you notice there's a gap and there's an emptiness beneath that gap. Stop and pull back the covers of the sleeping bag. There's actually a pit trap. So one of the sleeping bags was covering a pit trap that you just spotted at the last minute, and that's fine. You avoid that. You don't find that on any of the other sleeping bags. As you dig through the sleeping bags, you find a couple of things. You find about 15 pieces of gold, so 15 gold pieces that you can split up as you wish. You also find a unopened bottle of bald dwarf whiskey, and you can see that it's a reasonably high-priced spirit. It's an alcohol that you know is made by elves in Utherdern, and you also see the logo on there, and it's bald dwarf whiskey. We can't put hairs on your head, but we'll put them on your chest. And so it's got a sort of very masculine dwarf man with very robust chest hair, just drinking on the bottle.
Durin looks at the
And not much
photo and
else.
goes, "Oh, my dad loves this. This is good stuff. This is really good stuff. You guys want some? Not on the job? Okay, we'll put it.
I've never had any whiskey before.
But it's the first time for everything, but maybe a little bit later.
Is there a campfire in the middle or an empty campfire?
There's an empty campfire. It's burned down. You can see that there's maybe a trace of coals in there, suggesting someone's been there in the last 12 to 24 hours.
Cool. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
I was
Just
I think Buxel would go over to Durin, Durin's got the bottle of whiskey. Is that right?
Yep.
You picked it up? Okay. And I think I'd be like, would that catch fire?
Oh, probably would. There's probably a lot of alcohol in there. My dad
Okay.
also definitely said don't play with matches near his whiskey, and that makes
think-
sense, I guess.
Buxel's like creating a bit of a potential plan in his head of Durin's very strong and Durin has something flammable he could throw. And Buxel's got this cantrip of a fireball that he could shoot at it. And talks about a little plan in case you find anybody around the corner.
Oh. And Jaren goes, "Oh, interesting. I was just thinking of saving it for a rainy day in
I'm drinking
Stroganoff,
this.
but yeah, we could throw Molotovs.
I'll use a
Well,
backup.
that's what they used
I'll use a
yeah.
backup.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
your
what my dad
doesn't
would
want it.
say.
I don't want to get you that way.
No. And whenever my brothers and sisters would play with matches near the whiskey, he would say, "Don't make Molotovs. I did not know what he means. I'm just saying what he says.
Would any of your
Right, so
characters have a
looks
knowledge
at
of whiskey?
I think because of Durin's dad,
Okay.
because he's of our high class family, I think he would be able to have knowledge of whiskey from that.
Okay, this is worth about 25 to 30 gold pieces, depending on where you sell it.
Okay,
Which is-
so this is quite pricey. We'll have that as a plan just in case. And he just puts it in his pocket and goes, and then now above the table, we never discussed this. What do we do with money? Split evenly, or do we just have someone who holds it and have a giant purse?
I'm sure we all have things that we're saving for and communities.
Fair
we can
enough.
give back to. I'd be happy to
Do a
do
split.
it.
Let's do that between the four of us. I guess Durin will happily forego his share because he's holding the whiskey. He would just hold on to that and goes, "You guys can hold onto the money. I can just hold on to this in case we need it later, for whether it's Molotovs or whether we want to have a drink later."
Sounds good.
And so
I'm keen to explore this little passageway that links
Yeah,
it.
I was gonna go and back him up with that.
sounds good.
So you see two passageways, one to the west, one to the north. You can see that this passageway sort of leads to another frigid pool. From where you're
Okay.
standing, this is as much you can see. I'll just readjust the map. Sorry.
It's going to
and-
cautiously
And
head
it's-
towards it.
Does Durin come with you?
Yes. Oh, he does. Sorry, I'm just typing in
Oh.
gold.
It's a rattle.
Yeah.
So as Durin comes up to the frigid pool, he gets a ping through tremor sense.
I was like,
You get a
Ooh.
pretty large ping, actually, Durin. So you see this rather large frigid pool. You see a ping that is larger than the other frogs you saw in the other room. And you see what looks like a frog the size of a horse.
I was like,
What
oh, there's
kind of
and
horse?
like, yeah,
I don't know horses.
Oh, okay.
This
yeah.
looks like quite a
I want to say Pelham than it was.
Yeah.
I think so. Durin just holds up his fist, like, stop. He's like, I think there's a giant creature in the water. I think it's a frog, and I think it's the size of a horse. Maybe.
Can I ask?
Theo, do you
him
want to? Theo, do you want to go first?
Oh God, not again. Can I see any sign of any signs of people? Did any people like go into this pool or get eaten by the frog? Any signs that might have happened?
Give me a perception check. Just remind me, you have dark vision or
I do to 60.
60. Yep, just give me a perception check just to stratify this.
That's eight.
You don't get much, but you do see that there is another cavern passage towards the north. So beyond this frigid pool, there is another passage. With an 8, you can't see much else than that, but you know that there is another passage to the north.
Durin can have a look. He has a dark vision of 120 feet.
120 feet. Okay, with 120 feet,
Yep.
you see a flicker of fire from that passage to the north, and just a hint of smoke. Not the main outlet of the smoke, but just a hint of smoke
Yeah.
trailing from that
Okay.
room north.
And Durin goes, I think there's some fire at the end of the well as well.
Should we see
I
what's
mean,
down the other way?
Yeah,
first?
yes.
Yeah, we can pick our
I'm a
battles.
big
Yeah.
fan of. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of let's go have a look around and see all the options before we have to try to sneak past the gigantic horse-sized frog.
Yeah,
And Durin, and Durin goes, hey, as an option to get us over, you got two of you are really small, and he gestures at Theo and Bucks. I could potentially try to throw you over the frog, if that would help.
Immediately stealth.
Okay, so
Durin.
you guys see a couple of things, and Tremor Sense pings once again. That was a clutch move at the start. Absolutely clutch
Nice.
move, really. There.
What was it?
So you see the Tremor Sense
Oh yeah.
really helps with these
awesome.
giant
Bowler.
frogs.
Oh, yeah.
So you see 3 bandits. You also get a ping from Tremor Sense of 2 more regular sized frogs. So the sort of the dog sized frogs, not the horse sized ones. And there's 1 frog in each of those closer pools. You see a couple of other things. You see a bucket. You see a bucket that holds 6 dead bats, and you think that may be of significance. 3 bandits. One of the bandits is a dwarf and 2 are elves. They're bundled in layers of winter clothing, and one of them is carrying a dead bat and throwing it into the pool. One of the blue-skinned frogs leap up and snatch the bat midair like a trained dog, and slow dripping water from the ceiling that sort of pools in the southwest cavern.
Have they seen us? I presume not, because we haven't rolled initiative.
No, but if you get any closer, I will need a stealth check.
Yeah.
Right where you are, I'm happy for you to do that.
I'd probably turn back to everyone and say, I think I can see that the cavern goes back to the entrance, so I don't think this is the right way. If we back away now, I think the giant toad is probably the way further in.
We
Durin
can probably
hasn't-
have the way to distract this giant toad as well. It seems these toads are trained on the bats. We might be able to go collect
that's
some
good.
food.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
I think
Durin
I was
was-
going to go up and tap Theo and be like, can we go get some of those bats that you like shish kebabbed back in the other
Yep.
room? Yes.
I'm like slowly
And-
backing away back into
And,
this.
maybe it'll work for the horse frog as well as it does for the dog frog.
Just don't get
Yeah,
any
easy
viruses. You do it.
Oh, yeah.
Durin's having a close look at the guards, and he wants to know if any of those bandits resemble Hulil, who was the dwarf priestess.
Nice.
You see a mismatch of armaments and gear. You get the sense again these might be either a ragtag team, mercenaries, or sort of a semi-military outfit, someone who's not using standardized gear. They do
Okay.
have some features of Hulil's. So you saw Tulgi previously.
Yes.
They do have some similar clothing. They have the sort of fashion cut that you expect from her, as well as a symbol. You're not quite sure what the symbol stands for, but it's a U shape with a few little details that you can't quite make out from the distance.
Oh, the Yud family. I think Durin rolled a nat 20 last time or something and remembers.
Oh
the
yeah,
family
easy enough. So
family
you
well.
can make the connection. That's for the Udlot crime family.
But I don't think any of them, facial features wise, resemble Tugi.
Oh no, they don't appear to be directly closely family as you would expect.
Okay.
Tulgi to Hulil.
All right.
So we didn't have to
Nice.
say these people. None of them are used. We think they're just bandits. Is this crazy? Can Bucks go up into the dead bat room, get a bunch of little bat pieces, and can we try to coax the giant horse toad down to where the bandits are? Is that crazy?
Yeah, let's do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Let's do it.
So Bucks is going to go and get literally as many little chopped up bat pieces as his tiny little arms can carry, stuff them like down into his like giant wizard's cloak, and then we'll come wandering back with like bits of like bat leg falling out of his robe, and then we'll hand them to everyone. And then we need to figure out a way that we can.
Yeah, so I'm thinking if we get them down there, then we can hide in like this sort of area. Wait, that doesn't quite work.
We could start like dropping them here and then start coming up, start dropping a trail of them.
like breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
like
we
breadcrumbs.
can hide in where we came from and see what happens.
I love
Let's
it.
do it.
And I admire the moxie in handling so many dead bats in a game where there's some sort of unknown contagion. But nonetheless,
And Durin would have handed everyone, said, hand hygiene now. We don't know what's sick. Here's some hand wash. And then starts up, and here's some gloves.
The big bad of the field is going to be like a new fucking respiratory virus.
I don't know, is it better or
I'm
worse
happy
than
for you
other
to pitch
things?
me
Oh, wait, Mark.
what check this is. I think animal handling would fit nicely, but if you have something else that you would think is luring a creature with bats, I'm happy to work with it.
I'm going to try an animal
Yeah.
handler.
And
Yeah, let's try it.
Right. Durin's
And
going to
then-
try animal handling.
then I think we need to get away from this because we'll probably smell of the bats. So we just need to be like away of otherwise it might follow us.
Yep.
I'm gonna roll
Roll
with
a
advantage or
15.
someone. 15
Okay.
from Durin? Yeah.
So
Yep.
I got a
And
first
also, we
hand
won't
and
smell
a
like
ten.
bats. We won't smell like
Yeah.
bats because we will be using hand wash.
There you go. Done.
Nat 20 animal handling on the advantage.
Let's go.
Okay. With a nat 20,
This giant frog.
with a nat 20, the giant toad lumbers out of the water. And Sean, Teo's memory pings that this is actually old Croker, who's the local myth and what the cave is named for. So this is old Croker, the oldest of the frogs. And with a nat 20, not only are you able to lure the giant toad down and away, it actually catches a glimpse of you and seems quite friendly. It's like, talk with animals is reduced to sign language, but you see the giant toad and you see there's a little saddle on its back.
Oh my god.
You should totally do it. You should totally do it.
This tiny
Saw you,
little
Pascal.
bat smelling gnome is going to wander up and do that thing in like cowboy movies of like sniffing the hands. So there's the full wild, but it's just like 4 quarters of bat in a little hand going up towards the toad's nose. And then we'll try to stroke it and then eventually milk the giant toad.
How to train your giant toad.
So the giant toad actually starts lumbering back towards the frigid pool with you on its back, and it starts to get into the frigid pool. And if you would like, it starts to ferry you across. Would you like to go?
I would love that, actually. But is it big enough for my friends, or do we have to go one at a time?
You think it maybe take 2 of you at a time, but probably only 2.
I think we might
do you guys do this?
Teo because he knows the caves really well.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Are you guys
I'll
being
jump on.
quiet and sending steam stealth, or are you sending Durin?
I think
Oh,
we're
actually,
being quiet because I think we don't know what's on the other side, and we know that there's fire there. So I think we probably shouldn't send Durin with his giant's armor.
But during consents, like the thunder, the
Tremors and stuff.
tremor
Yep.
sense.
Also, CJ, if you want to determine when 10 minutes up, you're more than welcome to.
What have we done so far? I think you've maybe got 1 or 2 minutes left. I think that's fine.
Okay. Yep. All right.
So Teo and Buxel going across.
Okay, fun.
You guys get over there. As you reach the bank, you see a few things. So you clock 2 figures who don't seem to have noticed you yet. I'm just going to reposition the map.
And I'm going to go into stealth as well.
Go for it.
Do you want a stealth check?
And go for a stealth check. For simplicity, I'm going to move Brother Marshall and Durin a bit closer, just to keep the viewing screen nice and tidy.
Of course.
So,
It was an 18 for me, if it makes a difference.
yep, 18's fantastic.
I can try stealth as well, which is a 10, which I'm not very good at.
You don't need much for this. So you see 2 figures. When you enter into this character, you get this rush of heat. So the warmth of the fire, there's a massive fire burning in the center of the cavern, and that sort of hits you after all this cold. Teo, you've been in the water. The smoke is venting up through the narrow stone chimney above. It's the smoke, I presume, you saw earlier. The flames illuminate a rough painting of a 5-headed dragon that dominates the north wall. A bedroll is spread out beneath the mural, and near the crackling blaze, there is a dwarf bundled in a heavy cloak on a stone chest. Next to that dwarf is an elf whose face is covered in dragon tattoos. The dwarf's face is pulsing with blue veins, similar to what you saw with Tulgi.
Is the dwarf the one
on the stone chest?
Yep, so dwarf in heavy cloak on stone chest, an elf nearby in a, for lack of a better word, secondary position, positioned lower, kneeling in front of this mural of a 5-headed dragon.
And which one's the sick one? Sorry, the dwarf or the...
Dwarf is the sick one.
Okay.
The elf looks healthy for a bandit, maybe a little malnutrition. That's...
Do we think we can get the rest of the team over before we start engaging? Is the giant toad amenable to a ferry trip?
Direction. I've so
Oh, thank you. I'm going to give it a pet it really nicely on the head. Thank you.
So you see these figures worshiping in front of this. You. Probably
Sorry, CJ, I can't
Sorry,
really
Hugh?
hear you. Oh,
Yeah, dropped out a little.
So you can make the connection. This is probably Hulil, Tulgi's sister.
Okay.
Hulil's the elf who's kneeling to the dwarf. Is
No.
that what you're?
No, Hulil
Ah.
is the dwarf who is sick and the sister
sick dwarf.
of. Is that right?
Tricky, sorry. Yeah. Do any of them look like they would be a threat, or they are in any sort of shape to be able to pose a physical threat to us?
The elf looks healthy and robust.
Yep.
They are carrying a scimitar and a bow. The
That's a Ray
Dwarf.
isn't it? Or the one on the left. Yep. Or am I just getting really
yeah.
confused?
Rhaegrin, we'll say for simplicity, Rhaegrin is the name of the elf.
Yeah. Okay.
So
fine, sorry.
Rhaegrin is the elf. Hulil looks blue in the face, but seems like she could put up a fight if you got down to blows.
Okay.
So you think maybe this is an earlier form of the illness.
Okay.
So I think Durin turns to the group and says, "Hey, so I think we can get through and just chill it by just having a chat and then just telling her that her sister sent us and she wanted to send a message.
I think Durin can take the lead on this. Yep.
And otherwise, you guys can hide. And then if things go not great, then you can jump in. But I'm happy to do that. I'm a people person.
Sounds good. We'll hide. I'm gonna hide within like the sides of the cave in a
Yeah,
dark
that's
corner.
awesome.
So Durin looks and nibbles and goes, "All right, buddy, we got this." And so Durin is going to move himself, not stealthing, and then saying, "Hello," in Dwarvish. "I have a message for your from your sister, Tugi."
And Hulil turns around, looks at you,
Hello.
sees just a spark of recognition in her eye. And she looks at Rhaegrin, the elf beside her, and says, "If it isn't the odd duck dwarf himself, Rhaegrin, we've got us the odd duck of the family on our hands. Durin Thunderaxe,
Hi.
what are you doing?"
It's a long story. I can pour some tea if you want to talk about it. And then he pulls out his thermos.
She'll take a cup of tea. She
Fair enough.
gestures to her campsite. You can pour a cup of tea. She doesn't immediately attack you.
So Durin takes out his canister of his thermos of tea, and then he also takes some collapsible cups and now sets out 3 and starts pouring. I hope you like jasmine. I also have a bit of honey if you want to make it a little bit sweeter. But I like the taste pure. And then he just takes tea, starts sipping it to show that it's safe to drink. And then he goes, so it all started when I let some prisoners go because I thought that because they said they promised to me they weren't going to do crime again, and then they did. But I just thought that they really could do it. And I think we just need a little bit of help. And we all make mistakes, even me. But because of my mistakes, my family says I wasn't allowed to hang around the Citadel anymore, and that they wanted to send me away so I can prove myself. Well, they said prove myself. I don't know what that means, but then they sent me all the way to this cold area, and I got lost a few times. And then I stumbled upon apparently by people getting sick, and I met your sister. She says hi. She's a little bit unwell with the same ice thing, but she said that you might be able to help us figure out what's been happening with the ice stuff. And we're wondering if it's a cursed item that you two stole together. That's why I'm here. Surprise!
Durin Thunder quacks. A bit of the odd duck of your family. I don't know if I should trust you. You said my sister sent you, eh?
Yeah. Her, and she has 2 beautiful wolves who are super friendly. At least they're
Durin,
friendly
can you
to
roll me?
me.
Can you roll
Yep.
me a charisma check? This will be opposed. You can roll with advantage for that excellent conversation.
Oh, okay. Good thing I had that. It is a 19 on the die. That becomes a Just flat charisma or persuasion? Regardless, it's over 20.
I would say, are you actively trying to deceive her? Because in which
No.
case it would be deception. Have you actually
Of
told
course,
an active lie? I didn't hear you actually.
No, I didn't
I didn't
tell a
actually
lie.
see
I was
you
just
lie.
saying hi, and just want to. I've talked to your sister. She says she has stuff. Durin is
Like
not telling a
charisma
lie.
or persuasion.
Yep. So regardless, if it's flat persuasion, 22. If it's with flat charisma, 22. Persuasion, 20. 25.
Let me just roll an opposed insight check.
Yeah, Durin is not a liar.
She opens up to you. She sits a little easier and gestures to Rhaegar, the other elf, to sit down as well. And you seem to have won her over a bit. And she tells you a few things. See, the thing is, I have come down with something we know as the Frigid Woe. I don't know much about it. I'm not a doctor, see, but I've heard rumors of people in Islecross getting it from time to time. Terrible business, that. I think it was caused by something I stole from Pelk's Curiosities, the blue vials that were in Pelk's.
Okay.
Bloody Ergon Wenth sold me some. I think my curiosity got the better of me. The vial was cracked, not quite as cracked as old Rhaegar over here, but it was pretty shoddy workmanship. I'm not sure how to fix it up, though.
You still have the vials?
Oh, yeah, still got the vials. They're still over there behind us.
Okay. And it only happened when you came into contact with the vial, with fluid?
Yes, the cracked vial, some of the fluid got... Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I know. I'm really sorry to hear that. That sounds really hard. I'm really sorry for you. But of course, I guess that's why we have hand hygiene and hand protection as well. But so at the moment, I can't help you from getting, at the moment, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to help you. So can I bring my friends along? They might be able to help me brainstorm. They're really friendly as well. They're just a little bit behind. They sent me up forward because they said that, I think they said that they thought I could be, that I'm just a nice, friendly face and people got along with me. But so, yeah, is that okay if I bring them along for just that so they can for chat?
Yeah, you can bring them in, but Rhaegar will be watching them like a hawk. And I might look in a bad way, but I might have also sold on one of the other vials I got. So this problem's going to be spreading, it is.
Oh, no. All right, so looks like we need a bit of help and we need to set up a command zone so then we can have focus on trying to control and manage this epidemic of sorts. Yes, we could call it the Center for Disease Control. Yes, I think that's what we can do. Guys, come up. We're all good here. We're setting up a Center for Disease Control.
And we wander in. Incredible.
I'm gonna stay
Really?
elves in the shadows. I'm gonna come out.
Yeah. And then Durin still looks into the hallway and goes, "Hey, look, Theo, are you a little bit shy? Come on, I can see you. Come on." And I think, and also I imagine that Hulil is also a dwarf who also has 120 feet of dark vision. So
I'll reluctantly step out of the shadows.
See, we're all friends here, and we can start working together to control this epidemic. But so you said that someone sold one of the vials. Is that okay? Is that right?
So I had two of the vials. One of them's over in that stone chest. I set up a little insurance plan if someone was to be untrustworthy. Not that you would be, of course, there during Thunderquakes. The other vial,
like a containment zone.
It's in a chest. I didn't go to a fancy school, all right?
Okay, so you put it in the chest as an insurance. And where did you send the other one?
Since old Tiamat back there doesn't seem to be helping me out, I sold the other one for a bit of quick cash to get back to the family. Sold it to a human merchant who was staying at the Jolly Dwarf Inn over at Palebank. His name was Irvin Lyle. Irvin Lyle at the Jolly Dwarf Inn in Palebank.
Jolly Dwarf Inn or Jolly Giant
Jolly
Inn?
Dwarf.
Yeah.
Jolly Dwarf Inn.
In Palebank. And he said, Irvin. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, that
And
does not familiar. Do any of us recognize that name?
No, I don't think you would have come across this name yet. It could be similar to
Okay.
one, but I think so.
okay, all right.
It sounds like
Oh yeah, that was it. So you sold it to Irvin. Did he actually? And did he say what he was using it for, or did you tell him what it was? I'm just wondering if he is aware of the risk.
Oh no. He was a
okay.
collector of curiosos and curiosities, as I understand it. Bit too much
Collector.
money weighing down his coin purse, as it were.
Okay, so hopefully that means can keep it safe. Okay, so that's good to know. So I got to
How much
ask.
money did
Sorry?
you get?
More than you need to know.
Brother Marshall, I thought you had a vow of poverty.
Oh, it wasn't my self-interest that was driving that question. I'm just trying to work out why everyone wants to sell it or pass it on to someone else. Because it seems
Okay,
that there has to be a reason. And if it's
sure.
perceived value, then that would explain it.
Okay. So did you get a lot of money or a little bit of money?
A lot of money. These artifacts from Islecross are right valuable to the right collector. And some of these unknown ones are a bit of a mixed bag. You might get a really good spell or a powerful artifact, or you might get the Frigid Woe. It's really luck of the draw. But certainly people have made their careers on a right find they have from Islecross.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, is there anything we can do for you? Can I leave you some chicken soup? And maybe that'll help you feel better?
Couple of things. If you want, the vial I've got's over in that chest there. I've trapped the chest just in case old Ragran got himself a bit of plans while I was asleep. Might be best if you take that with you. I'm going to leg it for Shady Creek Run. Unless you had
Okay.
other plans, of course.
I do have this ability called Lay on Hands that allows me to expend 5 hit points to cure a disease or neutralize a poison affecting a creature. Do I think that if I took a long rest and woke up while she was there, I could potentially cure her?
You think it's unlikely, based on what you've heard described, that the previous priests of the town tried and were unsuccessful.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess with the vial, we could look after the vial. I guess we just have to make sure it's in quarantine. We'll use double bags, always handle with gloves. I think I could set out a whole policy guideline for it, and I'm happy to take that into account. If the rest of you guys are happy.
Those of you with a passive perception above 12, you clock there's a lot of treasure over near that chest, like a lot of gold. You also clock the chest has a dragon carving in the outer of it, and just a hint of blue gleaming in the dragon's mouth. You see a jade statue of a storm giant, a interesting looking quiver of arrows, and a silver ring with a jasper stone. You see all of these things standing behind your possible ally, possible foe, and you realize you have some decisions to make. And that's where we're going to leave tonight.
Fair enough.